So your comment in this game is that, or questions actually, is that there are four things that I mainly struggle with: classifying, identifying lane matchups, and how to play them. Two, itemizing in games that are not clear cut, dealing with a well balanced draft. Three, identifying what to do best after all enemy tier ones are down. Basically, it's going to be the mid game, right? And then on lanes first, how do I correctly identify which carriers do what in lane? Which ones wants to fight or not? How to support them properly? Whether to force fights or not? Aggressive or not? Play for pulls or not? Second, identifying how you match up against the opponent offlane in position 4. Is it better to harass, their power spikes, etc.? Third, what to do when you are being outplayed by their support and have no kill threat on their offlaner. How do I identify a sacking lane and when to abandon it? Lastly, for the post laning stage, how do I determine whether I can leave my pos one or not? When can I go to other lanes to get a bit of XP experience, push as a group, or alleviate enemy pressure on middle offlane tower? Those points actually really good for me, man. It seems like you have things to work on when it comes to your supporting. This is Crusader 3, right? Crusader 3. Let me put it in. All right. It's actually quite. It's actually step-by-step process in here, but it's usually on how you do game planning by yourself first. Because first thing that I'm actually recommending to all of the players is basically have a game plan, right? You need to know who's going to be your lane partner, who's your potential matchup, and from there you can go for the itemization and then skill points and all that. So okay, I actually wonder why you have two wards. Like maybe give it to your supports or in the offlane. I mean, in the mid it's kind of okay-ish, but given that your lane is going to be most likely Bristleback and then
30 seconds
Tekis,
to battle.
I mean, Ward is only good against Tekis because of the potential suicide, right? Or blast off. But that's it for the Ward. I will go for Ward whenever, like, there's something like Mirana, Podge, heroes that can actually kill you if you don't have any vision on them.
The battle
And
begins.
I don't like what you're doing in here because I don't know why you're AFK. Yeah, in my bracket when I gave the mid, it gets rewarded a lot of the times because they tend to wait until it's daytime to plant it. Okay. Just plant it immediately, right? That's what you did, which is good. But yeah, I mean, it's actually a good counterpoint, but my thing is, why would you even hold the observer ward in here? And then, yeah, you just... Cha, come on. This is actually lucky. Why is it lucky? It's because you don't even scout the inventory of the enemy. Hold on. Let me go back in here. I actually don't like what you're doing in here. Like, see it here one more time, right? So, the Marcy is already here. You could actually scout the items of Marcy. And then you actually leveled up the Shadow Word. And I don't know why you're not using the Shadow Word already. Just use it. I mean, you have 1.3 mana for a reason, right? You have the regen. I mean, onto the mana. So just use it. What's the point of leveling it up in here and then having nothing? I got a feeling he blocked because he has no... Yeah, that's actually true. But even then, again, it's just basing on the luck that the enemy is going to be stupid enough to put it in there. And then what are you doing in here? Come on, man, it's 1 minute already and then you're not doing anything. You're actually not present in the first wave. So, why? Why are you there? I don't understand it. Don't tell me you're going to do the level 1 pull without doing anything in the lane. Come on. Yeah, so basically, brother, when it comes to the laning stage, usually most of the offlane heroes are so weak in the beginning. Like, really weak. And when it comes to the Bristleback, how is he going to be strong in the lane? That's something that I want to understand. When is the Bristleback will be actually strong in the lane? Usually it's when? Level 4? Perhaps? Level 5? Bristleback level 3 will be strong? Yeah, kinda. Kinda strong. But technically, how long it's going to take for the Bristleback to actually get to the level 3 or level 4? Or even level 5? How many minutes? How many waves it will require for him to get it? Like for the level. So my point is, given that you actually have Drow Ranger, technically Drow Ranger level 1, or any hero that has a Shadow Walk capability, like Drow Ranger with the Frost Arrows, Clinks with the Searing Arrows, Huskar, you know, with the what's the name of it? Burning Spear, right? OD with the Arcane Orb. Well, OD has cooldown, so a Viper with a poison attack. Basically, those guys that can harass the enemy without doing any aggro on the creeps are considered as lane dominator, because you can always harass them, you know, without getting any retaliation from the creeps. Orb walking, yeah, I think that's the proper term. And those heroes will actually abuse their capability, their skills as early as they could, because that's the design of the hero, right? So you not doing anything in the first minute is actually counterproductive in this lane, because as you mentioned, Bristleback is not that strong when it comes to the early levels, right? And then you are a Warlock, and then you have Drow Ranger, and then they have 2 melees, right? Basically, you could attack them like 2 or 3 times before they can even try to fight you. Given that you're actually abusing the creep aggro, that's another thing. But when it comes to the melee heroes, if they're going to attack you, they could potentially get the aggros, right? So the first minute, that is something that I really don't want to see when it comes to support. And I think you're going half full. Okay. But for me, you should not be doing any pulls at all, since we identified that you have Drow Ranger, which is actually pretty strong in the laning stage, and the Bristleback being weak as well. Same goes for Marcy. I don't think that Marcy is actually strong level 1. Even level 2, I don't think Marcy is strong as well. Unless your positioning is really bad, that's the only time that you can actually be killed by a Marcy. But yeah, look what you are doing in here, basically. You never touch the Bristleback, and then since you're pulling, you are actually forcing the enemy creeps to be killed under your tower. In which, if it's around the tower, the Drow Ranger will be having a hard time. Drow Ranger will be having a hard time last hitting under tower, right? Because look at the base. I mean, base damage is fine, but if your carry is not that high skilled, it's going to be difficult for her, right? Animation suck, unless she actually practice the last hitting so much, yeah? It's possible, but as you can see, she's struggling 4-0 because of what you are doing. Alone. Just because of you alone. So in this lane, you should not be pulling, you should be right-clicking the Bristleback, and then using the Shadow Word whenever you can. And then if there will be like the Marcy and then Bristleback will be sticking together, and then there's the Creep Wave, use the Fatal Bonds. It's guaranteed, because in the Creep Waves there's only 4, and then in the side lanes there's only 2 heroes. So basically, include all of them. and they will not be able to fight. Let's say Marcy will go in, use Fatal Bonds, they will be disengaging. So yeah. The way that you play the lane itself is not looking good. And then 3 minutes here. Yeah, Bristleback is already level 3. Drow Ranger is already level 3. But you never punish the Bristleback. In which I think the Bristleback will be doing this. Fatal Bonds. Yep. But that's it. Even if you use your Fatal Bonds in there, since they're not... they're actually healthy. They're not afraid to go. And look at the trade. Half HP Drow Ranger. And then almost full HP, full HP on Bristleback, and then 80% maybe on Marcy. And then now you have 1 mana. Or 1 spell to use. Right? And when it comes to this matchup as well, itemization wise, I like the magic stick. I like the tango. But I don't like the salve. Given that they don't actually have burst damage. They don't have burst damage and they don't have kill potential unless your positioning is really bad. And then another thing is that they won't be able to do any kill if they're really, low health. So you actually wasted like goals in there. Like, how much? 100 goals for sentries? I don't know why you're so concerned about Observer Ward. For me, if you let the Marcy play in there, like steal or get your courier, it's actually an opportunity for you to go onto the Bristleback. So, yeah, I don't know what you're doing in here. This is a lost lane already. Fatal Bonds not the greatest. Again, when it comes to the side lanes, do the Fatal Bonds for 6. 2 heroes plus creep wave. Magic 1 heal, that's it. That's all you can do. Right click, use your health, you have magic 1. Come on. Yeah. You can even give Tango as well. So you can use the Shadow Word against the Bristleback. Going to pull? Yeah. I'm going to fast forward it, man. Because I don't think that we will be seeing any progress in here. Okay. Mars is dead for sure. But not the death that I'm expecting. When are you going to use the Clarity? I'm curious. You should be using it immediately now. Yep. And then tank the creeps, perhaps? Sentries again? That's 200 for the sentries alone. You buy so much sentries. Is it a habit? If it's a habit, it's definitely a bad habit. I mean, there's no indication that it's actually warded in there. Because if it's warded, Martha should not be dying in there. Right? Because technically Martha should be seeing your positioning. Martha should be more careful. You're so concerned about Marcy going for the courier. Because for me, I will let it go. Technically, Marcy is leaving the Bristleback open, and you can go to the Bristleback 2 versus 1, and there's nothing that they can do about it since Marcy, is too far. Should be here for the pull. By the way, you haven't used your Tango, right? I haven't seen it. Even the salve and AFK. I don't know what you're doing, man, but I feel like you're too lazy to play. Yeah, you're just running around circles. Where's your courier? Dead?
Just like Axe.
Ah, you're waiting for the boot. Yeah, but the... So... Fatal Buns! 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 Just use it! Yeah, Bristleback is so strong now. Vanguard now. So wait, what? He didn't go? There's no reason for him not to go. Since you waited so much time for the boots, yeah, it's blocked. You cannot fix the lane in here. And Drow Ranger will be suffering. Yeah, TP. TP out. Drow is dead. Drow is dead. They should be diving this. No fucking way. Yeah, she can actually TP. But she did not. So you can get some free experience in here. If I were you, I'll be careful in here. Yeah, Marcy went away, so it's fine. Okay. You actually give her idea what it's worth. Wait, you're ganking? It's actually a reactive TP. See here. Wait. Okay. I think it's better if you are sitting to the top lane and get your levels, because here there's no way that you can kill anyone. You're a Warlock. You don't have stun, aside from your ulti. You're more of a reactive stack. Oh, Jesus. Kill yourself. Sal. Yeah, you're dead. We should be standing in the top lane almost. Get levels. So as you can see, 10 minutes into the game, you're level 4. And when it comes to the boss 5, usually they won't be getting the tome in the game because usually it will be taken out by the boss 4. So you need to be more creative when it comes to getting your levels itself. I mean, Drow Range is actually jungling. Ah, jeez, we got it. Okay. So yeah, it's actually fine. Luckily. Luckily, you actually got the tome in here, but then again, you lost the top lane. And then you're watching the Drow Ranger. You're going to walk where? It's too late. Okay. Help? Used to be immortal? What year? What year you were an immortal player? How did you even reach immortal in the first place? Reactive, no mana, no detection. OD, yeah, this game's low. Okay, ganking. So going into the mid game, like rotations in here. First you need to know what is your hero capability, and then knowing the limits of your hero is going to be followed by which hero you should be playing with your team to be useful in this game. So who do you think is the hero that you should be playing in this game? That you should be you know, sticking with? Because for me it's not going to be DK, right? There's no way that it's going to be DK. And for sure Drow Ranger is not the other hero that you should be playing. SK, I guess? Yeah, you're actually correct. So why you're not playing with the Sand King? What's the challenge? Basically, Sand King has stun, has AoE, which is really helpful when it comes to your fatal bond. Wait. Yeah, you're actually randomly throwing sentries. And you're just lucky that it's actually you actually get something out of it. Checking. It's good that you're checking them. The last thing that I saw you, it's actually you made a call to the mid to be pushed. Like you made a drawing for the DK to push at the mid lane. But the matchup is actually not favorable since it's OD with the Meteor Hammer. You're going for Shard? Glimmer? 4 staff, perfect. But I think you need to go for like detections too. So in that way you can help. Yeah, you're pinging the mid lane again. Can you actually do it without any detection? With your smoke like that? It's too obvious. You said push and then why are you here? You cannot kill that guy and get detection.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The ward in that river is not going to help you guys out. Since they were playing in the top lane, I don't think the enemy is going to be playing into the bottom lane since they have Bristleback and then OD. Those guys can easily take care of Roshan if they get a win onto the fight. But yeah, I guess it's fine as well. I don't think they will be doing Rosh anyway. But yeah, Bristleback showed up, no more push, mid. Fatal Bonds, ulti? No follow-up. And then you're not using your hero, you're dead. No one can help you. Yeah, okay, good thing Sand King was there. Go, man up! Even the golem is running away. What? On that ward, I didn't want my force to be playing top cause Baby basically got control there. I mean, even if the enemy has control of the top area, having vision, knowing their location is still a great asset for your team. So, if you know... At least in the river, potentially here in this area. Here. For the Roshan. You can even, I mean, you have ward in here, which is nice. You can even put in here. So if you know that the enemy is actually playing in the top area, right? Even here, this is pretty limited vision. It's only for rotation, actually, for invading your triangle. So I don't think the enemy will be playing in here. I'll show it to you. I don't think the enemy will be playing in here to invade your jungle. Because as you mentioned, they have the control in here, right? They have control in this area. So most likely they will be taking this building and then going from here. So before they could even take it, you can put some ward in here or even here. This one is pretty common, easy to be the warder. Go here, potential Roshan. Because so far, this ward is not being useful, right? So when it comes to the warding, you just need to recognize when or where the enemy is going to play, and what your team wants to do in the game. So if you think that you are playing from behind, how can you catch up from them? Right? How can you catch up? You need to have like good vision in the game. So if you have vision onto the enemy in here, and then you are seeing the OD in here, which is actually one of the strongest hero on the game, it will actually give you a confidence that, guys, OD and Ricky is here. We can kill this guy in here. Because you have vision onto the area that they are controlling. Or trying to control. And then if one hero, strong hero on the enemy side went away, you can get it back. By doing smoke, by just running at them. That's how important positioning is. So yeah, so far, look at the itemization in here. Do my next Invoke Master? I'm not sure about that one because I still have the other guy, Daniel N, in line. But yeah, we can do that one, if ever. So here, let's go back in here. Right? Let's go back in here. Where is it? So this is where you actually made the call to push, right? Basically, you're seeing the Ricky in here, and I don't know why you're not buying detection, even though you're a support, right? Imagine if you have detection in there like dust. You ulti, you shadow word, you dust, right click him. They could actually die in there. And then yeah, Bristleback is here. So where to go next after seeing Bristleback? Just tell me when you need to replay. Okay. Yeah, after this one. So just where to play next? Why are you playing with the Drow Ranger? Does that benefit you at all? Playing with Drow? Healing Drow Ranger? Technically, Drow Ranger already know how to farm, right? So, why you're trying to help the Drow? She can manage herself. You have Arcane as well, and then here you will be... yeah, I think this is it. But so far, what's on the map? Ricky bottom. Sand King bottom. And then here, DK is alive, and then you're trying to force a fight in here, right? Minimap is actually full of information. So basically, you recognize that 1, the enemy will be playing in the top area of the map, and then 2, why are you playing in that side as well? Here. Why would you use ulti in here? For what? For what kill? For what purpose? Just a Marcy? Technically, a Marcy will not die because there's the save, and then they could run at you. So, yeah. Here, and then now that you use your golem, you actually force your teammate to fight, and then the golem is running away. Bad micromanagement control. Yeah, they're not going to die. And then here, Ricky is actually free farming. Luckily the OD died because he overstayed. You could actually right click the bomb. Your reaction time is actually kind of late for the most part. And then what's next? Still fighting. Right click! Why you're not right clicking? Right click! Right click, use your body as well. You're a Warlock, you already use all of your spells. Why you're so afraid to die? You can die for the greater good. Ricky is still in bottom. And then you're not looking at it at all. That's their carry, by the way. You got Dust as well, and then yeah, you showed up. Darius died. Pinging the gyrocopter. Okay. So yeah, when it comes to the mid game, you just need to know who is the hero that you should be playing with. Clearly in this game, we had a problem when it comes to identifying that one. Sentrying again. It's only Sentry. Sentry versus Sentry, it's not going to be beneficial. That's Observer Reward. Now, if you purchase Sentry, that's going to be helpful. Because you will get extra gold and then experience from killing that Observer Reward. Because you saw it. Buy Sentry. Oh, come on. Now that you see the Observer Ward in there, why are you not buying it? That's the problem. It will actually give you more than 50 gold, for sure. Fatal Bond. Fatal Bond. Yep. Don't delay it. Right click! Why are you not right clicking? Right click! Only one right click? Are you trying to body block the Bristleback? Just right click. Right click. Yeah. It could help at least. Yeah, you fed the golem as well. I mean, the moment that you use your spells, just do everything in your power to do more damage. The Squirrels has cooldown, and then you're actually too close. So why would you be afraid if you can just kill the Bristleback? Where to go next? Ward? So basically the DK has Blink Dagger and then the Sand King, so that means you have to play with them. You have to be playing behind them. And then again, the Observer Ward in here was not rewarded or destroyed. Okay. You could die. Wait, Riki is dead. Why are you using the dust? Get in, get in. Fatal bonds. You don't have to use the shadow word onto yourself, given that they have no incoming damage. Just use the fatal bonds to the enemy, and then you can even use the shadow word. And then Growl Ranger is going to die for sure. You might die as well. There's a wait, what? Yeah, that's it. Aghanim. So you're playing from behind. The best way that you could win this is smoke with Sand King and then Deep Day. You pop the OD first and then delay the fight. Pick off, pick off. Hit and run. Like this, you're actually baiting them, which is nice. Wait. Go back in here. The other thing as well is buying the item in here. If it's just 4 staff and then there's no point of buying staff of wizardry actually. That's 1k gold for what? 10 damage, 10 intelligence, 130 mana. You can actually use it for buyback and then TP in there. Yeah, like this. But it's too late. It's too late. They're backing off already. They know it. Because you bought back. Good for the enemy that they actually recognize it. But imagine if you didn't purchase this one. Especially if you're playing from behind, buyback will actually turn things around. Especially for supports. Play with the numbers. Ulti. Sentry! Okay, you're fine. You don't have to use your ulti, which is fine. But that's too risky, man. You could actually die, you know, die back. And then Riki will be surviving in there. But yeah, maybe you could push the mid tower now? XO? Don't play top, you mean? Well, it's 4 versus 5, isn't it? And then you're still not crossing the river? Dusts.
Much like cordwood before
There's no more
action
smokes.
Dyer's top
I think that's
tower
because you panic too much when it comes to using the buttons.
is under attack.
Crusader.
Dyer's top tower has
BKB
fallen.
incoming. You guys are trapped in here. Dead. Fatal Bonds ulti. Yeah. They messed up. Marza is dead for sure. Back off.
Tower is under attack.
Preset, yeah. That's it. They won't be playing for now. Just keep delaying the game. Stack maybe? Ah, this is terrible. Terrible idea. But surprisingly, the enemies have been playing together. Okay. I mean, you actually don't have Golem in there. I don't think you should be winning that fight. If they bring more people in there. The other thing that you can do if the enemy is trapping you is just use the fatal bonds with the quick wave, that's it. And then back up. Just make sure that you won't die. As you can see in here, they're playing into the bottom area, right? Try to go to something like push out a lane. Usually it's the other side of the map, the top lane, but Drow is already in there, so it's fine.
Dyer's bottom
Just cast the fatal bonds. That's it.
was not involved.
If no one else is going to push out the lane. Yep, they're doing it, which is nice. Ah, Bristleback is there. Fuck. Okay. So Drow actually abandoned the top lane. You can actually go in there too. And then try to push it. You don't have to... now you're forced to fight. There is the... Save? Who's save? They didn't save? Wait, why I didn't save the Sand King? You can actually force up him. Why you're saving yourself? That's yeah. It's fine. Heal. Heal, heal, heal. I think Ghost Scepter is a really good item in here. Given that they do physical damage and then right click. Particularly the OD. Ghost Scepter is good. Glimmer Cape. I mean, Glimmer Cape though, I think it's only going to be effective against what? Techie? Magical damage? Use Golem again for the support. No more ages on the OD? OD. Ah, there's a bit of that. We're good. You force step in out again. Way too early, man. Now you cannot help.
Sworn of shadows.
I think it's better if you're trying to force the enemy to commit on you, and then once they wasted their time on you, that's the time that you will be using the force staff. Don't use it too early, man. I haven't seen you save anyone with the force staff. What's the point of having force staff if it's only for yourself? The DK is actually strong in the defense. He got shards anyway, so. But yeah, he's alive pretty soon. Marcy will jump. Yeah, Marcy definitely. Holding. How did it happen? No silence. You're force tapping away again. GG.
Dire structures are fortified. Super fortified. Like you can't even imagine.
这个不亏，对。
That's a good force step actually. But that's it. I think this game is over, man. Do you have any questions? We're going to summarize this one now. I guess no more questions? So to summarize, since you're a Warlock, winning the lane is actually important, man. Winning the lane is so important, and to the point that now the biggest problem of the enemy, or in this draft, is actually the Bristleback and then the Marcy, right? Imagine if you dominated the top lane. These guys is not going to be a problem, right? The Bristleback and then the Marcy is not going to be a problem. Only if you do well in the lane. You can actually buy back just to defend this building. Why? Why you're not doing it? Because when it comes to their draft, you need to look to who's their initiator. Usually it's going to be Bristleback because he will be in the front, right? And then once Bristleback is actually in the front, that means you'll be seeing the enemy's position because they're trying to kill you. And Marcy will be jumping in. They can actually go for like OD to be the initiator, but it's not ideal since OD is supposedly the save, and then it's actually easy to kill the OD in here. My thought was Marcy had big kill potential on my drill with their jump in stun in laning. Yeah, that's true. But if the Marcy and then Bristleback is both low on HP, they cannot do anything about it. They cannot do any aggressive movement, right? Because instead of them trying to kill someone, they will be getting regen. So try to make it 1 versus 1 for pulls. Yeah. Is it okay to just shadow ward the lane? What do you mean shadow ward? Shadow ward or shadow ward? So yeah, basically this game is over. You're just waiting for the enemy to throw. Fatal Bonds, yeah, Fatal Bonds it is. Why? As you mentioned, Bristleback is so weak before level 3, right? You avoid pushing. No one will be pushing out the lane. Drow Ranger has frost arrows. It's not going to draw the aggro. You will only be using the Fatal Bonds if they're going to stick as 6 in there, you know? 4 creeps plus 2 heroes. You use the Fatal Bonds. It doesn't matter if you will be able to push out the lane if you can be making the enemy so low on HP. If they're so low in HP, you did your job. And then that's the time that you can be doing something like pulling. And when it comes to your sentry wards as well, most of them is actually basing on luck. Like in the first sentry that you use to unblock the camp, the small camp, that's pretty much lucky for me. Because again, you didn't take a look onto the inventory of the Marcy. And then you level up the Shadow Word, but you didn't use it immediately. You didn't take advantage of the mana regen of the Warlock, which is 1.3 in the beginning. 10 seconds, you will get like 12. So yeah, Salve is not a good choice as well, since Bristleback is, you know, kind of sustained damage. They don't have any burst damage, and then if they're going to kill someone, they will keep on or stay on top of them. You don't have a way to actually get out first and then use yourself. So yeah, itemization though, 4 stuff is nice, but when it comes to your usage, it's not good. So in the early game, you should be dominating the lane as Warlock and then Drow Ranger, because both of you is actually the range. Just keep on poking at them, force them to buy more. See it here. Always go for the trade. But since you got Vanguard, there's no way that you can be that you can do more to the Bristleback at this point. Aside from your magical damage, but it's not even the greatest, right? And then Drow is mainly physical damage, so at this point the lane is over, right? Vanguard. So again, how can you prevent that one? Use everything that you had on Warlock, and then go on the Bristleback. Marcy is a support. Marcy doesn't do damage aside from setting up the kill, but that's it. The Bristleback will be the damage in that fight, in that lane. So if the Marcy is going to play alone, good luck. She will most likely going to die because there's no more follow-up damage, right? But Bristleback is the main damage, so if you make this Bristleback pretty low, they cannot do anything aggressive in the lane just because of this. So that's why you have to exert everything. Even if you die in the process of harassing the Bristleback, that's fine. I still have trouble identifying which one to harass between 3 or 4. Well, when it comes to the harassment though, who do you think will actually scale? Who do you think will actually be winning the lane? Because for me, the way that I look at it here, I'll be thinking about their spells and then their scaling ability. If I know that it's a Marcy support, that means her damage is pretty limited, right? It's more of a setting up only. And that means she won't be playing the creeps for the most part and then last hitting, because she's just hiding in the trees waiting for the opportunity to jump in and then throw the enemy, right? supposedly the Martian and Bristleback should be playing under their ward because you guys are pressuring them. That's the way that I view it. And yeah, Bristleback is their core. That's their tank. So it's more of a thinking of the transitioning. Like, who's their... Or what's the main job of the Bristleback in this game? What's the main job of Marcy, let's say, in this game? Initiator, right? As you mentioned, you're afraid of that. And if you take a look to their other heroes, can they initiate? Can Ricky initiate? Can Odie initiate? Can Tekis initiate? I mean, yeah, sure, they can initiate. But it's risky. Because they don't have stun. And they're actually squishy. So in this game, in their draft, what they do is they let Bristleback to go in. Once you reacted on the Bristleback, they will go with the Marcy and with the Odie, and then that's the time that the tech is, and then Ricky will go. But since the way that you play the game is that every time that you see a hero, like 2 or 3, you will go for the Fatal Bonds and an ulti, even though it's only support. So, yeah, that's the problem as well. As you mentioned, you panic, right? So it's more of a looking at the big picture, to be honest. And I think this is actually a pretty common thing in the lower brackets, because whenever they see a hero, they will use all of the spells in there immediately, without thinking of the possibilities that will occur in the future. So for me, you should be learning how to do soft commitments, not hard commit immediately. You have to bait their spells, you have to bait their positioning. So, yeah. At least that's the way that I view it. You need to learn the soft commitment in a game, particularly if your hero have high cooldown spells. Because the moment that you don't have Golem, the enemy is trying to run at you again, right? Because there's no more counterplay. There's no more Golem that has insane AoE stun that can stop them, right? So yeah, that's what usually happens in here. Subcommitment. When I try to think too hard, I blank on the game. Well, that's actually pretty hard, you know. Because it all stems down to the game planning. Game planning. Looking into the capabilities of their lineup and all that shit. But in this game, if you're going to see something like Odie, Ricky, Bristleback in particular, usually just ignore the Bristleback. Because the moment that you show yourself to the Bristleback, the teammates of Bristleback will have easier time to initiate or to go in. So try to bypass the Bristleback, find the right target in which it's going to be Odie because that's their save, right? Regardless of how many damage you got onto the, to try to burst the Bristleback, if you don't see the Odie will be saving the guy. And then all of a sudden you guys don't have any more spells because the Bristleback just got saved. And then they go in again. So self-commitment. And then positioning as well. But of course, don't AFK in the lane. That's it. So if the 2 versus 2 in the lane is hard for you, of course the mid game is going to be much harder, right? So that's why you have to make it a habit that you'll be thinking about your capabilities in the game, like with your partner, right? As you mentioned, Drow is actually strong because of the frost arrows, right? Or blocking, right? You recognize it. So you need to be playing with the strength of the hero. Okay? Play with the strength. Play with the strength. It's actually pretty devastating, actually. So yeah, cheers, cheers, cheers. Good game.